For those that may not know, you've been battling leukemia for over a decade, and you recently announced that it was back in remission. I want you to talk about, first of all, how you're feeling. We're all hoping, and you sound like you're in great health. You look great. I want you to talk to my audience about how you're feeling and what this battle has been like for you, sir.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. You know, the time, to focus on my health and to rest, really went a long way for me. But I have to really just pay tribute, to my support system and his medical team and my doctors that surround me. Luckily we're very well watched over, and as world-class athletes and performers, obviously our health and our physical well-being is going to be highly monitored. So I was very fortunate to be able to have a great team around me, and one of the keys to my success is early detection and, going through the proper steps to know what's going on with your body. And a lot of people, they go off the, how I'm feeling, how I'm looking. I look good in the mirror, I got to be healthy, but that's not always the case. Sometimes we have to go through those physicals and we have to get ourselves to the doctors and have those appointments that we're not necessarily crazy about. But when you get some news that you're not really prepared for, it's always better to get it early than late. And that was the case for me. And with that help and with, that mindset, we were able to keep, my health in check, and we were able to get me back to where I needed to be. But, hopefully with my story, people will, take notice of that and really, start to understand that we don't know everything about ourselves, and we don't truly know if we're fully healthy, and we have to go through the proper precautions to make sure that we have that, 100% bill of health.
Now, Roman, obviously, you being an elite athlete the way that you are, I mean, these things can happen to anybody. We all know that. It certainly struck me and my family and many, many others, millions of people throughout this world as well. But in terms of doing what you can to take care of yourself and what have you, what specific advice would you give people to sort of help assist in trying to diminish the chances of them ultimately acquiring an illness of this like or anything like that? Obviously, nothing can prevent it. We all understand that. We understand that cancer research and beyond, these are the kind of things that have been looked into. But could you explain to us some of the things you think people can do outside of early detection and going to your doctor, some of the things that people can do to better position themselves to be healthier human beings? Because obviously you're an elite athlete and people want to hear that from you.
Well, I think, it all starts with knowledge, we've always said knowledge is power. And I mean, that's a big part of the early detection is just knowing, knowing what's going on with yourself. That way you can have a plan of action if something is going on. But, you have to take those precautions. And, coming from someone who has a physical and athletic background, and I've always been in a position, to train and work on my health and my fitness, but I think, coming from someone who's been on, athletic level of all kinds, I think we're always building ourselves up for competition. But I think the true competition is life, is being, present, is surviving and being here on this earth as long as we can. So sometimes we have to take ourselves back from what our personal, our athletic, our, career goals might be and focus on the small things like ourselves. Because as you know, I'm sure, as a young man, a provider, someone with a family, we can always put people ahead of ourselves. We're always putting the team in front of us. So sometimes in order for us to take care of the team, we have to take care of ourselves. So I think a lot of people can go through the insecurity of thinking they're being selfish. And, trust me, I went through the same thing thinking, man, why do I have to take time? I just want to continue to be the protector, the provider. But if you aren't protected and you can't provide for yourself, you can't do the same for others. So I think, with that mindset and just, helping our ignorance to the condition and just educating ourselves, it's going to make us all smarter, and far more prepared for, a bad occurrence or a rough situation or, a set of adversity or anything that knocks us down.
The great Roman Reigns right here with Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Before I let you get on out of here, let me transition to another subject about WrestleMania Thursday 35. I think for the first time in history, females are going to be a part of the main event. How big of a deal is this in your estimation, and how much are you looking forward to it?
It's huge. I mean, and this is something, the women's revolution, the women's evolution, it's been just that. We've seen these women evolve from, people who only were getting a few minutes out of a 3-hour show to dominating, throughout the show and telling a 3-hour story. And, I think it's refreshing, you know what I mean, to be able to see, these women step up and rightfully so. They did a lot of awesome work to get to this point. And I love the fact that we highlight that. We don't shy away from it. With everything that we do, we are pushing these women to be as great as they can be. And they've answered the call every step of the way. And to be able to see them, crescendo their year and on the grandest stage of them all in the main event, closing the show, I think it's a huge testament for women all over the world and all through different walks of life that if our women put their minds to it, there's nothing that can hold them back. They can do anything, if not more, than us men. So I really am super grateful and, that I'm going to be able to experience it, and I'll be there live. And, I'm just so proud, and I just want to send my congratulations, because if anybody knows about the main event, it's me. And I know the awesome responsibility and opportunity is and how it can change your life. So the girls are going to have a great time, but just be ready for that work, because with great responsibility, a huge schedule comes with it. So as they know, it's happening as we speak, but they've done an awesome job, and I can't wait to watch the match.